This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're talking about the Mission Workshop Notch Modular Sling Pack, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. If you find this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So as some of you might already be able to tell, we're working with X-Pack here. So the specifics of the fabric are Dimension Polyant X-Pack. It's extremely lightweight, water resistant, everything you'd come to know from X-Pack. It's probably not going to be as durable as something like, Cordura or something like that, but I've had no issues with it so far. It looks almost brand new, and I've really tried to put this thing through the ringer because when I first started working here, I thought that X-Pack was a sham. I thought that there's no way it was going to be this durable. And so far in testing, X-Pack has lived up to all of my, or I guess beat all of my expectations. So overall, very happy so far. We've got YKK AquaGuard zippers on the front pocket here and the main compartment zipper there. They work as you'd expect them to. They might feel like a little bit like overkill for some, but because we do have that water resistance on the X-Pack, it makes sense to try and have water resistance on your zippers too. Nothing really bad to report. The zipper pulls are very short on this front one here, but we have the longer zipper pull with the plastic end on it on the main compartment, which is helpful. So this buckle here on the back is from National Molding. It is a Stealth Warrior. And I don't think this is really a buckle problem, but the strap and the buckle don't get along very well. So I will show you by tightening this up like this. So you've got your sling like this, and obviously you probably wouldn't have it super tight, but if you grab it by the buckle, it just goes like that. So that's obviously not ideal, and you can kind of get around it by if you just grab the strap, but even then, if you kind of go like that in the right situation, it loosens a bit. But if you even touch this buckle, for the most part, you're gonna loosen it completely, which is not ideal. Once you get it on, and if you don't grab the strap by the wrong way, it's not gonna do that. It's just, I just don't think that should ever happen. So that's a little bit annoying, but as I said, you can get around it, and otherwise they both, function as you'd expect them to. On the back panel here, we've got some attachment loops because this is a modular sling. It can attach to a lot of Mission Workshop backpacks. This part here opts, as a little handle if you want to carry it like that. And also these shoulder straps can kind of go tucked underneath like that on either side. So you can get them out of there if you want to use this as a pouch or when you're using it modularly on a different backpack. But these hip huggers are pretty large and in charge. And when I put it on, you'll be able to see that. So if you're not really into that look of it kind of like hugging you while you're wearing it, maybe this isn't for you, but they do add a bit of comfort, and I'll get into that when I put it on as well. So continuing on with a more thorough investigation of this harness system, as you can see, we've got really no padding or aeration to talk about on the strap or the back panel. This is a very small sling, it's under 2 liters. So you're not really expecting a lot of padding, but because the footprint is just so large, I feel like I'm expecting more from the harness system here, but it is comfortable. If you have a larger frame, if you have a smaller frame, this size is gonna feel a bit cumbersome, and maybe you'll wish, like I do, that there was a little bit of padding or comfort there. This back panel is a little bit rough for me, especially if you're wearing a thin shirt or a tank top or something like that. And just overall, it feels like it could be a little bit more comfortable. I'm not gonna say that it's uncomfortable, but because of that lack of padding and aeration, it's just, I don't know, it leaves something to be desired. As I said, it's not uncomfortable, it just doesn't exactly fit how I would want it to. I will say that you can wear this as a hip pack or as a crossbody sling, and it does both pretty well so long as you have a large enough frame to where it doesn't, it's not too wide, and it does both comfortably. I think it fits better as a hip pack, but I liked wearing it more as a crossbody sling, which I'll show you both modes here just in a second. But it is kind of hard for me and maybe for you to get over the lack of padding and aeration and just the rough material choice here on the back panel. So typically when I go to put on a sling, I kind of put it over my head instead of doing the buckle because I don't have great range of motion in this arm. And just to show you that a lot of times when I go to do that, I grab here and then that strap issue becomes a problem. So I can kind of get around it by going like this, but it's just a little more awkward than I'd like it to be. And now it's too tight because I was worried about it loosening. And once you get it to its the position it's supposed to be in, it's fairly comfortable. But right now I'm not all that comfortable. So now after some adjustments, I'm in a more comfortable position. You can see that it is pretty big here on my frame, and I do have a larger frame than some travelers will. So if you do have a smaller frame, this might feel a little large. But for me personally, it's comfortable. These hip huggers do feel like a little much sometimes, but as I said, overall pretty comfortable. So now I'm in hip pack mode, and as I said, I do think that this is the most comfortable way to wear it, because as I said, I don't think this is the technical name, but I call them hip huggers, and they are on your hips now, and that just adds a little bit of comfort, and you have easy access to your gear. It's not really high up or anything like that, so I do think this is the most comfortable way to wear this pack. So since there's only 2 pockets on this thing, I'm just going to combine this section into one, so we're going to do all of the compartments at once. So this front zipper here with the small zipper bowl, there's no org inside up here. I've just got my phone stowed in here, and I have no issues with it fitting in there. There's that extra room up there to fit it that way, and then a fair amount of room on the sides as well. So if you have a plus-sized phone or you have a big case, it should be able to fit inside there, but it depends what you're putting in the main compartment. So if you get the main compartment really overstuffed, it's going to be more difficult to put things inside of here. But no organization inside of there, just liner material. There isn't a ton of padding on the sling, because that is one of the drawbacks of X-Pack, is there isn't a ton of padding. So don't put anything in here that's going to break or anything like that. And if you're going to put your phone in there, maybe put it screen facing inwards. I think I didn't do that, so I'm not even really living by or practicing what I'm preaching. But I like this pocket because you can put like a snack in here, your wallet if you know you're going to be going to like a food truck or something like that, or a phone, so you can kind of have quick access to that and it's not taking up room in the main compartment, which we're going to move on to right now. So I like the 2-zipper design on this main compartment, so you can kind of leave the zippers wherever you want to. So however you're wearing the sling, whether it be this way, or as a hip pack, you can just leave them where it's convenient for you. If you have range of motion issues, you can leave it on the side of your body that's easier for you to get to. I always really dig when it has 2 zippers, especially for one that has such a large surface area as this one. So I've talked about that too long. Let's get inside. So this opens pretty far on the sides here. You can see it comes down a little ways on the side. But because it's just not very deep, or like it's not very thick, it can be hard to access this organization. So I found myself not using the organization very much, which you will see. So inside here right now, I've just got a point and shoot camera, extra roll of film for walking around, taking photos. And then on this front pocket here, we've got a nice mesh pocket, which has a little bit of stretch to it, zipper on the top. So even as you can see, it's hard for me to show you this because there's just not that depth there. To show you or to really get a good look, you really have to yank it like that. And then while you're yanking it, you kind of have to like separate it with your arm. So just kind of hard to get to sometimes. Once you know where everything is and you find your way around this thing, it's not so bad. But if you're showing someone or you're just getting into it, it can be a little tricky. So I've just got my wallet stowed in there right now. There's a room for quite a bit more gear in there. It's nice because you can kind of see what's in there, because I would say it's kind of semi-transparent because of the mesh. So if you put some stuff in there and you want it, like you're an anxious person like I am, you can look in there and be like, okay, I have my wallet, I have my keys, it's time to go. So nice zippered compartment there. On the back panel, we have another zippered compartment here. This time not mesh, just this liner material. You've got a good place to stow a passport because it's close to your body. This back panel does have a fair amount of rigidity to it, so you can put it there without worrying that it's going to fold or anything like that. So I do like that. No organization or anything inside of here, just a big pocket. A little bit of extra protection compared to that mesh pocket because this liner material it has a little bit of water resistance to it. So if somehow water were able to get through the X-Pack and then it gets inside of here, it's going to have to get through this liner too before it gets to your passport or your travel documents. So I'm going to close that up, and as you can see, we have like an elastic daisy chain here. So we've got 4 different places you can put gear. The ones on the side aren't as wide as these 2 in the middle, so you do have different sized spaces for different sized gear. The elastic isn't super stretchy and it doesn't snap back really quickly, so it's well tailored for larger things, I think, but smaller items can still kind of slip through. And last but not least, we have this key ring here. So it's a really good length for me personally, because I don't like it when they're really long because it kind of gets in your way, and when they're really short, they're not long enough to reach your keys or your lock. So when they're this length, I kind of like them because they're long enough to reach most doors. But if it was a little bit shorter, it's like, well, it might as well have been way shorter because I can't use it for anything anyways. So I was actually using this. I had attached my camera strap here to this little thing. It took some doing because it is a big strap, but then I could pull my camera out, take a picture, and it's, if I were to drop it, it's not going anywhere. Or I don't think anyone would try and take this because it's really old, but if someone were to try and snag it, it is kind of attached to me. So that's, you know, having a key ring can be handy. But overall, pretty happy with how much gear and the organization I can stow inside of here. It does feel large for, you know, as you can see, it's an under 2-liter sling and it's pretty big. And the strap issue obviously is hard to get over, but I do really like the organization, and the ability to use it modularly is pretty great. So there you have it, the Mission Workshop Notch Modular Sling Pack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.